Happy Monday and welcome to the Time is Money show, where we have advisors to the advisors, our resident time expert, Dr. Travis Perry, and our resident sales expert, Mr. Always Good. And today's topic, folks, it's never too early to talk about the holiday slump.
Ooh,
Take it away, fellas.
the holiday slump. I know I've felt it before. I'm pretty sure everybody out there has felt it, especially as an advisor. This time of year can be pretty intense for your clients because either they're trying to figure out, do I have enough money to do all the things I want to do for the holidays? Or what else can I do with my money to make sure that I take the best advantage of tax benefits and whatnot that go along with the end of the year? Because there's a lot that goes into this. But, it was really interesting. We had a lot of our clients this week when we were speaking with them and from viewers talking about that the holiday slump feels like it might even be happening a little earlier because we're all kind of ready for it to be a little more happy and joyful this time of year. I'm even already hearing Black Friday sales before Halloween. It's still weird for that to happen. But the slump is real if you let it be real. I found if I don't believe that the slump is real and I work just as hard, then I tend to not have to worry about that slump. And one of the ways that you can do that is dangle a carrot in front of you. So what is that carrot that you dangle in front of you to help keep you motivated to keep going forward? And like for me, it's, I'm traveling this Christmas back up to Michigan to visit with my family. It's going to be a whole week of not being in the office. So I'm working harder now so that when that comes, even though I still work while I'm there a little, I won't have to put as much effort into it because I'll have the results I wanted before then. What about you, Travis? What do you do to help you get through this holiday slump?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think with the holiday slump, it really is all about mindset. Like we talk about mindset a lot on the show. I think there's that mindset of, oh no, hurry. It's almost end of year and we've got to get our sales in. We got to get our numbers up. We've got to yada, yada, yada. I think a lot of this is this undue pressure on us to make up for a bad third quarter or hurry and fill this last part up with great sales. Most of the advisors I've talked to, it's been interesting, have actually had really good years. Most have actually done fairly well, even better than what they had thought that they would be able to accomplish in 2020 with everything that they've had to deal with. They've had to go home. They've got to be virtual. And they've got to deal with compliance issues of, technology, yada, yada. I mean, there's lots of issues here that they found. They've risen to those challenges and still had a great year. So part of it is just, why are we always thinking end of year, end of year, end of year? Is that a psychological barrier? Or are we thinking, hey, let's reschedule what our next year looks like right now already? This fourth quarter, what does this look like clear to 2021? I think if we keep having that evolving mindset, yeah, set goals, yes, achieve goals. I mean, that's what I teach and preach all day long, is how to have balance between personal and business goals. But at the same time, this mindset that limits us maybe for this time period might put a lot of pressure. You put that in with holidays. When are we taking vacation? And a lot of financial advisors, at least the ones I know, will basically say, yeah, I take December off or half of January because nothing's going to happen. I don't think that is the truth. I don't think that is the way to look at it any longer, that nothing's happening, because there's so much going on in the world, so many reasons why people need advisors right now, financial advisors, that they probably need to be thinking about, how can I step away and still have a vacation, right, with the business running? And how do we maybe deal with assistants being in or out, and that kind of a thing, so that their team can be functioning really well and not just taking off and missing out on the opportunity to really help people during this time and hit their sales goals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sales goals. It's interesting. People talk about the same thing. I've heard many, many times that nothing happens this time of year, or this is the slowest month of the year, or this is the whatever it is. It's amazing how those sales goals never really change. And I think you hit on a very crucial thing here, and that's the self-fulfilling prophecy. If I say this month's always the worst month. I'm going to find a way of making sure it is the worst month. If nothing happens at the end of the year, is what I keep saying, well, nothing's going to happen at the end of the year. But again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. If I put it in my own head that nothing's changed regarding the time of year doesn't matter, the help that I can provide to my clients is far greater than what the end of the year looks like, or the first of the year, or the February or January or July, or whatever you want to use as the excuse. But we can all find 150,000 excuses as to why something doesn't work or won't work or hasn't worked. But it only takes the one excuse of why it will work to be the forethought, to be the most prominent thought in your mind regarding that thing. And those excuses they all disappear. It's also the same thing. We only need one excuse for why it won't work. So you don't need the 150,000 of them. Just one is enough to stop it if you focus on that one. So focus on the one excuse you know will help you get ahead. Not all the ones that are trying to slow you down. And I know that, again, we've been hearing this from our clients and from our audience. I want to check in and see if we have any comments yet.
It is a quiet Monday out there, which is okay. I mean, I think you guys are hitting on some really vital stuff. Look, it's been a weird year, and I don't know about you guys, but Christmas is starting early on our side, and I think it started early for our clients too. And I'm curious, especially from you, Travis, if you're in one of those offices where they're surrounded by maybe some of those more established folks who can take December off, or they take those last 2 weeks, how do we help our young advisors prepare for a successful end of year?
Yeah. This is really all about money making, right? So if your team is set up properly, you're the owner of the firm, or you're the managing director or partner, you're looking at these, new recruits, these under 5 advisors who, they're going to be working a lot. They're going to be dealing with imbalance, and part of being a veteran financial advisor is that, yeah, you can take this time off. So in the meantime, are you using this time to maybe give those B clients or C clients an opportunity to be served by some of the newer advisors and your assistants? Have you trained these newer advisors on how to take that referral? I mentioned this before, and I'll say it again, but I have a really good, teammate and partner in crime who is like, here's my B clients. I want you to help these specific groups. And I'd call them, I'd contact them, I'd meet with them. And that did lead to some other business. And that other business was more advanced. I needed to have my business partner come in and help me in those cases. So actually, instead of that limiting mindset of, oh no, it's time to shut down, and I need to shut down, which is good on one hand for the person to get out of the office, but maybe allowing others in your team and be that rainmaker might be really beneficial for the team as a whole, and for that individual who's not as busy as you yet. So I like the question, though, and I like where you're going with this. I hope that answers that.
Yes, it does. And hey, it's Monday, so our audience is a little quiet. I know we're not quite halfway through. So for those of you out there in Facebook land watching us live right now, tell us, are you feeling the pressure of the holidays? What's coming up for you, for your clients, and how are you handling it? And Joe, this one's for you. This one is for you. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. That 2020 has been a year of layoffs, frankly, across the board. So how do you advise our advisors when they're coming across the idea that no one has money?
Well, that is a great question. And we have heard that a lot of layoffs, a lot of people having to reduce the number of hours that they're working, a lot of people worried and scared about what's coming around the corner.
Welcome to the Time is Money.
But what I do know is that it makes a big difference when we have the mindset of who can I serve? Who can I help? There are going to be people who you're not going to be able to help right now. That's okay. They're always there. But it's focusing on the fact that there's still a lot of people out there that need your help now, probably more than they've ever needed it. And especially for everyone who hasn't been laid off, maybe they're dealing with more workload, there's more stress, so they don't have as much time to focus on the things they may have been that it was like their finances. And knowing that you got to reach those people, No matter what, you still have to reach those people. And when it comes to prospecting for clients, whatever your time frame is on average, but let's say it's 90 days from contact to client. It's 90 days on average. If you take December off, that means March, you're going to feel that pain. You take January off, April is when you're going to feel that pain. So if you want to feel the pain of no prospecting months from now, don't prospect today. So remember to focus on that. There are certain basic things that you cannot stop doing. Just like I say, if you own a business and you're not marketing, you're not growing. So it's right. Real estate, it's location, location, location. Businesses, it's market, market, market. If you're in a position that requires you to prospect for sales, it's prospect, prospect, prospect. It never stops. And regardless of what's going on in the world, you have to keep that mindset that what I can do, the help that I can bring to you is worth it no matter what's going on. Because if I can reach one person, it's all that matters. Do it for the one.
Gold. That if my mic could drop, I would drop it right now. So that actually kind of got me the holiday spirit, right? That's all about giving, right? Give to your people, give to your prospects. So Travis, when it comes to time management, I know this is this has got to be bringing up things for you when we talk about giving. It's like, well, where do I give, and do I change how I arrange my time during this time of the year in particular?
Great question. I mean, when you can't be giving maybe monetarily, you can be giving your time. And when you can't be giving your time, maybe you can be giving monetarily, maybe you can be giving money. So it kind of begs the question of, well, what do you do? And this season is a season of giving. What a great time to be able to do that. So I think that there's that balance. We can be caught up the entire month of just giving, 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 and not paying really close attention to what our core values are, business and everything else. In March, you start to feel it, right, Joe? As you were mentioning, I 100% agree. So if we can, instead of thinking of just short term, but be looking at least midterm, hey, what we're doing this month is going to help us in March. What can we be doing right now? Yes, maybe we're not meeting with clients as much in the end of December. I totally get it. So then what can we be doing to look forward to 2021? Are we goal setting? Are we planning? I know firms that are doing this in November, early November, sometimes late October. They're already setting 2021 goals and objectives so that they're, this last quarter is really just setting them up for the beginning of the next year. So yes, give your time, give your money, do all those things that you normally would be doing, but set yourself up for that next year to get started. Give yourself the gift of time by creating those goals and objectives to get going. I was in a slump. We all are once in a while, right? And I recognized it a little while back. And my own coach used my own words. It's like, Travis, like, what's your values? What are your goals? Visualize them. And I realized, yeah, I do this for my clients all the time. I'm helping them visualize them, helping them see them. So I've been more proficient at waking up in the morning, reading my goals. I even have them on my Apple Watch. So after I exercise, I can look at those goals and just visualize that happening this month, this week, this year, next year. I think that's really helpful at this time to already be thinking about 2021 goals.
I 100% agree on that one, Travis. Truly, at the beginning of the fourth quarter of a year, if you're not planning next year, planning how you're going to attack January, February, if you're not already in that mindset, you are behind. I mean, it's like the same thing. If you didn't prospect today, you're behind tomorrow. It's no different. If I eat too much today, I choose to be too heavy tomorrow. It's the same thing. So remember, you're making choices always. What choice do you want to make? Which consequence is worse for you? Is it prospecting more right now because you have to talk to more people to get a hold of them, or make more calls to get a hold of people, and that's painful to you? Or is it the pain of not having any new business coming in that's more painful? Which one is it? And know that. So the carrot is helpful, but sometimes you also need to give yourself the stick a few times. Like, I know me, every now and then I got to remind myself, of like, oh, if I don't do this, I'm not living up to my own standards anyways. And that pain is worse than me doing the thing I don't want to do. Taking a meeting when I might not want to, or making a few more phone calls than I want to, or giving a presentation when I'm not really 100% in it in my own head before I go, but doing it no matter what, because I know the pain of not doing it far outweighs the pain of doing it. And even if I have to convince myself of this, I do believe every now and then lying to yourself in a good way helps. I don't mean like, convincing yourself you're great when you're not, or convincing yourself you suck when you're great. What I'm saying is can just convince yourself, oh, I love doing this. The thing you don't like the most, just tell yourself every time before you do it, man, I love this. Like, I love cold calling in the morning. I love cold calling on Fridays, whatever it is. But convince yourself of it, because eventually you say it to yourself enough, you see good results from it, you will begin to love it. So I guess it's really not lying to yourself. Really, you're just speaking the truth in advance to yourself. But I really believe that's a big part of what we have to do.
Attitude is everything. Okay, so let's talk about what this season can often bring for many, many people, right? Pressure. Pressure all across the board, right? We're all facing additional personal pressure, professional pressure. And I think for our young advisors, they're dealing with it from all sides, just like everyone else. They're looking at, how did I do in my career? Maybe they've taken on additional workloads from those who have left the firm this year. Maybe they're trying to meet their end of year quotas. Maybe they want to get home for the holidays. Maybe they can't. So what is both of you, what's your best advice on how to face it and how to relieve it?
That's a deep question. I like it. Let's see. How to face the pressure you're under is to remember, this is again me, this is what works for me. So anytime I give advice to you, if you think like, where'd that come from? Know that it's the advice I give myself regularly. Number one, what separates a piece of coal from a diamond? I think we have an answer. I think we have an answer.
Pressure.
Yes, exactly. Massive amounts of pressure and heat. Massive amounts. To make one of the most beautiful things that is so useful in so many different ways, not to mention just to help you feel good when you get to look at the rock you got. But it is, without it, there's a lot of things that wouldn't function the same way in society without that diamond. But the diamond could not be made without the massive amount of heat and pressure for years upon years upon years to make that change happen. And that's what it takes for all of us. It takes pressure. It takes being uncomfortable. It takes being put into places we don't necessarily want to be to grow, because we don't grow when we're comfortable. So get into the mindset of, I love pressure. I love overcoming difficult situations. I love being victorious. No matter what has to happen, I will do it, because that feeling's worth everything else. And I'm going to kick this one over to you, Travis.
Yeah, this is a multifaceted type of thing. So yeah, great question. When I think about pressure, this is why most people actually hire me to help them, is because they're under such pressure, such stress, that it is killing them, literally physically killing them, and they feel it. So I mean, there's that overcoming the challenge, which I love, the mindset, the attitude. And then it comes to the point, well, are we trying to do too much? And we don't have a time management system. We don't have people we're delegating things to. We're spreading ourselves so thin that pressure now is destroying, us, ourselves, and so we can't withstand it. So I think knowing those limits is really important. And right now, a lot of times, actually, what I'm telling my own clients is deal with the things you can control. Right? If we can't control a said election, or if we can't control, how our family reacts to wanting to meet together for Thanksgiving or Christmas, or restrictions from government, like, we can talk about a lot of things we can't control, and we can sure complain about that a lot. None of our complaining is going to help. It won't. We can recognize that it's a fact, but complaining about it is not going to help. So it's having that positive mindset of, well, what can I change? How can I do something different? And what is that going to cause? I believe that it's going to cause a ripple effect. Me and my 20 clients the other day made a pact that we're going to not complain for 21 days. We're going to try not to. And every time we complain, we've got to move our bracelet on our wrist. So that's something that comes from an awesome guy, and I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. It's called A Complaint-Free World, Will Bowen. Will Bowen was a pastor who saw all this complaining in his church and all these crazy things happening, and people just complaining about stuff from their relationships, their money, about the church itself. And finally, he came up with this challenge, and it's that mindset of, okay, well, what can we control and what can't we control? It brings a whole lot of less stress and some of that wrong pressure, what we call distress, will be able to be alleviated or deflected. And we can deal with that good stress, right? And the good stress that you're talking about, Joe, about rising up to that challenge and realizing there's an opportunity here to really be successful. The beginning of this year, at the beginning of this year, I really saw 2020 as that. Like, I could either just put my head in the sand and be done and be a failure, or I could say, I can't fix any of this COVID business or government interference business. I just got to figure out what's going to work for my business. And I chose the latter, thank goodness, and was proactive enough to see the best year ever on the books. So, I mean, it's really up to you. The choice is, how are you going to react?
I want everyone to hear that again. The best year ever in 2020 because of the focus, the change, that you know what? There's always something you can complain about if you want to. But at the same time, there's always something you can find to be grateful for or to help get past that thing that you're complaining about if you choose to. One of the best things I love to do is in the situation where you think all hope is lost, just simply say, you know what's great about this? To yourself out loud or to somebody who's complaining, like, hey, what's great about that? And they'll be like, what do you mean? I don't know. I'm complaining. I get it. But what's great about the situation you're in right now? What is it? And force them to think about it in that way and get them to come out. This, again, you said your clients hire you to get some of that pressure off of them. Same thing with us. Our clients invest in themselves with us because we help them shift that mindset. And we help them learn ways of rephrasing things to make it better and how to put in the right processes to make the sales process easier for them, relieve some of that stress and pressure. If we weren't problem solvers, no one would ever hire us. Now, at the same time, I think both of us will eventually at some point, due to the additional business you're going to get, have a new problem because you're working with us. But it's a better problem. It's a good problem. So, but I do like to get people who are complaining to understand the difference between a complaint and acknowledging that fact, because you brought that up, Travis. You said acknowledging it's one thing, and it is. But the difference goes from, okay, this is a problem. And then you go, and here's why it's a problem, and here's why it's a problem, and here's why it's a problem, and here's why it's a problem. That's a complaint. If you go, this is a problem, and I think these are the ways that I can solve that problem, you're not complaining. You just stated the fact, and now you're being solution focused.
You're 100% right. People ask me, so what's a complaint? Well, anytime you state something to try to get and elicit a reaction. If I'm going to say, yeah, 2020 is horrible, it's the worst year ever, and it's been such a challenge. Or I could say, 2020 has been a challenge. Same words, different way of emphasizing it. And it's okay. So this is what we've done, and this is how we've risen to that challenge. Now, this doesn't discount, obviously right now, anxiety, stress, depression. I know a lot of advisors have told me that they've been getting call-ins from clients who have anxiety, stress, depression, and they're now trying to be that counselor, that advisor to them, at least on their money, to try to ease those worries and fears of the market, of their nest egg, of the uncertainty that's happening with the economy and government, et cetera. And so they've got to be really good. Advisors need to be really good at helping to calm people down. So knowing this and being this type of person yourself is crucial.
I think one of the things that advisors can do, because you bring this up, I remember when I first started working with a financial advisor and I was told, and I saw something go down, And I remember then reaching out to my advisor going, okay, what happened? And here's the same thing I gave that gentleman a recommendation after we spoke. And I say this to every financial advisor out there, 5 years or under. I don't care if you're above that, doesn't matter. Here's the thing. If there is a downturn, contact your clients in some way, an email, a text message, something to say, hey, here's what's happened. This is normal. Here's what normally takes for it to come back. When we rebound, on average, here's what it goes up. Be prepared because we're going to go up. You alleviate a lot of those pain points for your clients ahead of time. Be proactive in communication with them. Know that will help you not have to be that counselor, because really, you don't want to be a counselor. If you're a financial advisor, you want to advise on finances. So if you can help get away from that, that'll help you out. So just communicate in advance. There's a problem. Here's what it is, but we know this, and here's usually how the solution takes care of itself. So let's talk about how we're gonna be ready to capitalize on this. And it would help out a lot just to do that.
Awesome advice. And it's so key because financial advisors do have to be on top of everything, right? They are the experts. And I don't care if you just got your license, you're much more an expert than anyone you're going to be working with. And you do have to know what's going on in the market, which means you're often deeply exposed to those pressures out there that people are facing, the politics that are being discussed, the market changes. You're seeing all of it, and your clients are expecting you to be able to guide them through it, which means you can't be absorbed in it. Now, I know you guys have been dropping gold nuggets all over. Talk about giving. You guys are certainly in the holiday spirit already, but I just want to have one little fun note today. And I want to ask you both, what's your favorite holiday tradition?
I'll go first, but I want to piggyback really quick on that one. I think new advisors try to maybe overcompensate for maybe lack of experience by absorbing so much news and information. They can get down that hole too fast and too much. Stay away from it. Give yourself time if you're going to actually do research, and keep that time. All right. So my favorite holiday tradition comes from Denmark. My grandmother, growing up, she's from Denmark. She came when she was 19 years old, immigrated to this country. It has a phenomenal story. I tell my kids, but what we do is we go to her house Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, that's when all the Danes celebrate really a lot of their Christmas traditions. They have a big dinner. There's duck, and not turkey like we have here, but they have duck, and they have a bunch of other really cool potatoes that they coat with brown sugar and gravy. And then after they all clean up, what they'll actually do is, kind of like in Dr. Seuss, they'll all hold hands, and we dance around the Christmas tree, really just walk around the Christmas tree holding hands, singing Christmas songs. It's really a really fun tradition.
Oh, that is awesome. That's awesome. I love traditions that come from other countries, especially like here in my family, because of the fact that, oh man, I'm already getting 2-minute warning. Holy cow, let me make this really fast. There's two traditions that I love more than anything else when it comes to holiday season. One of them is started after my wife and I began dating, and that is that we go out and we drink hot cocoa and we look at all the Christmas lights, and we'll go to all these different neighborhoods, and we just love seeing that Christmas spirit and being involved in it. The other one is more from my family, and it's kind of more of a like a Lebanese thing, and that is that there's a pudding called migli that's usually made for when people have children, as a celebration. So it's usually made for Christmas as a tradition because it was the birth of Jesus. So those are the two traditions I love the most. I know we're almost out of time, so it's really going to be hard to summarize everything. But just remember, where you focus is the most important thing. The slump's only real if you believe it's real. If you don't believe it's real and you work the same way you've always worked every month of every year, then the slump won't affect you anywhere like it does anybody else. And when people tell you you're lucky because of it, because they will, just remind them that hard work looks like luck more often than not. On to you, Travis.
I was going to say, and my mom always said, luck is when opportunity and hard work meet. So call it what you will, but success is just that. Thank you.
Amen to mom on that one.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Back to you, Melanie.
Awesome job, guys. Thank you so much. There were so many fantastic nuggets this week. I cannot wait to see you all back back here this week. And we appreciate those of you who tuned in today because we all know
Time is money. See you next week.
Bye, guys.